This is iOS 11 running on my iPhone 7 Plus. I just installed it here after the Apple event, and I'm impressed with what Apple has changed in this update. This is beta 1, so it's a little bit glitchy here, but I wanted to show you guys the new features in iOS 11. So let's start off in Messages, the first thing that Apple talked about, and Messages now has a new app drawer here at the bottom. So all the apps that are installed on your iPhone that have an option for iMessage stickers or stuff, it's now here in this unified app drawer, so a lot easier to find iMessage apps. Also Apple Pay. Apple Pay is coming to iMessage, and you can send person-to-person payments right through the messaging application. So coming in a future beta and with the final release, there's going to be an Apple Pay button down here in the app drawer. Just choose it, choose the amount of money, choose what credit card you want to send the money through, authenticate it with Touch ID, and the money is off to your friend or family member, whoever you sent the money to. So a really cool update to iMessage and Apple Pay. A new update to Siri is also here. Now, unfortunately, I can't show you pretty much any of the features because Apple is limiting it apparently to the United States for now. Maybe it's also because I'm on a beta. But Siri now has deep learning across the entire device, so it understands context and gives you the information that you want when you want it. There's a new visual interface, a slightly different button here for Siri, so if I stop it, you can see here's the button for Siri, if I can get it to show up. There it is right there. So a slightly different button, and Siri kind of looks more futuristic now. It has a new voice. Like I said, I can't show you that because it's not working in the beta. And a new feature is the translation feature. So if you want to translate English to Chinese, just ask Siri, how do you say hello in Chinese? And it's going to be able to tell you that. So I can try it right now. How do you say hello in Chinese? Yeah, so it can't translate Canadian English, even though it's pretty much the same as American English, but the feature is coming, and kind of cool that Siri can now translate languages. There's a couple updates to camera and photos. So in the camera, there's not really any updates to the user interface, but photos and videos now have way better compression, and you can save 2 times the storage. They have 2 times better compression, so photos and videos take half the storage on your device, which is actually a major upgrade. Now you can save a lot of space on your iPhone. Also, portrait mode on the iPhone 7 Plus now supports low light. So if you had issues on iOS 10 with portrait mode, it's now going to be a bit better in low light. So less fuzziness, less blurry photos when you're taking them in portrait mode. Another update to the Photos application is it can now support machine learning to identify more objects, things, and people and pets and different things in images that the iPhone can recognize. So pretty cool. I don't use Apple's Photos solution. I use Google Photos. So I won't be taking advantage of this, but kind of cool that the Photos app can now recognize all of these objects and sort them by what's in the photo. Possibly the biggest UI change to iOS 11 is the new Control Center. So if I swipe up here, you can see Control Center is now one unified hub. If I want to get to more HomeKit controls, just 3D touch in there. If I want to get to more controls, just 3D touch in here. More media controls, I can do that, and you get the point. So a way better Control Center. You may remember the video I posted where I complained about how bad Control Center was, how it shouldn't be 3 pages next to each other because it's just way too cluttered. Now, implementing 3D touch on newer iPhones, this makes way more sense, and it makes Control Center a way better experience. So kind of an odd feature that I wasn't expecting Apple to change here in iOS 11 is the lock screen and the notification center are now a unified hub. So if you swipe down for notification center, it actually takes you to your lock screen, which is kind of odd. And if you have any notifications, it'll show them up here. Now, when you swipe down, it doesn't lock your phone. You can swipe back up to get to your home screen like this. But if you lock your phone and then unlock it, you can see here that the screen swipes up like you're in notification center. So it kind of makes it a unified hub. It makes it a bit less cluttered, and just makes iOS a lot more simplified. You can tell that simplification is pretty much the whole idea Apple is going for here in iOS 11. If I didn't mention it already, there is machine learning across the whole device. I mentioned it in Photos, but throughout the entire device now, the Siri Intelligence is here. So for example, they talked about in the keynote, if you go into Safari and you search for Iceland or something, Iceland will now show up in the News app, so you can get news about Iceland just because you searched it in Safari. And also when you're typing in your keyboard, the phrase Iceland might show up in your keyboard if you're typing about Iceland in the context of that conversation. So it really knows what you're doing, and it kind of feels like your iPhone is spying on you a little bit. It's kind of odd how if you search something in Safari, now in Messages, it'll recommend that exact same thing. So kind of neat, and it's just trying to make your life a lot easier. Also, machine learning can now suggest Apple Pay if someone asks you for money. So remember in iOS 10 or iOS 9, I think it was, when someone texted you and they said, "Do you have John's phone number?" And then automatically on the QuickType keyboard, John's phone number would show up here. Well, now it's the same idea with Apple Pay. If someone says, "You owe me 20 bucks, well then the QuickType keyboard will suggest that you pay the person 20 bucks directly through Apple Pay on iMessage. So pretty cool how the iPhone knows what you're talking about in the context with what you're doing. So pretty cool how the iPhone is able to learn what you do throughout the day. A pretty big update to Maps. If I move my phone out of the way here, I don't want to show you my location here. But Maps now has a pretty big update where it can actually show you floor plans of airports and malls. So pretty neat. It's only supporting major malls and major airports for now, but it's kind of neat how you can go into Maps here and not only see all the streets and sidewalks, but you can also see the detailed floor plans, floor by floor, even store by store for airports and malls. I believe in the keynote they also showed they can tell you exactly where security is in an airport. So really cool how Apple is mapping out all the major malls and airports around the different countries. Not available in Canada yet, unfortunately for me. A really cool feature that I like, and I think Apple should really be praised for doing this, is do not disturb while driving. So if your iPhone detects that you're driving based on if you connect your phone to Bluetooth when you get in the car, or if it's detecting your movement via GPS, it can turn on Do Not Disturb automatically based on knowing that you're driving, and it'll mute all the notifications that come to your iPhone so you're not disturbed, so you can focus on the road. This is probably going to save many lives, I can guarantee it, when iOS 11 is out. And Do Not Disturb while driving, possibly one of the most underrated features of iOS 11 that was announced today. A quick update to HomeKit right here. HomeKit now supports AirPlay 2, which pretty much gives access to speakers. And they did this because Apple announced the new HomePod, which is pretty much their new Siri speaker, which uses AirPlay 2. So a small update to AirPlay. Also new in Apple Music is you can see what your friends are listening to. So I haven't been able to find it here yet in Apple Music. Here, let me move my phone. Oh, there it is right there. So it says discover music with friends. I can say get started, next. It doesn't seem to be working because it's a beta. But it says you can discover what others are listening to, and others can discover what you're listening to. So they said on stage that the biggest way for you to find music is by asking your friends, and now if you just open up Apple Music, you can see what your friends are listening to, so kind of neat. And a big update to iOS 11 was the App Store. They actually called up a new guy on the stage to talk about this major App Store update. Kind of neat here, the App Store has been completely redesigned, and I really like this update. You can see here we have the Today tab, which tells you all the apps that are trending today. You have the Games tab, which kind of separates games from apps now, which I really like. You now have the Apps tab, so apps is pretty much everything that isn't a game. You have all your updates, and then you have searching for any app you want to. So I don't know where the top charts are. I'm going to see if I can find it here. I think if you go into games, you can see top charts. Yeah, top free, top paid. And if you go into apps, you can see top free and top paid. So unfortunately now there is no more unified top free apps and top paid apps. But now games and apps are now separated, which is kind of nice. And it kind of unifies the App Store as a whole. There was a really cool AR feature that Apple did mention. Now I'm not able to show you on my iPhone here because I don't have the augmented reality app. But they showed it on stage and it's really cool. So it's called ARKit, and it opens up AR to developers. So inside their app they can now take advantage of the very strong AR capabilities that iOS 11 now has. That's pretty much it, guys. That's iOS 11, the redesigned control center. I really like the unified notification center, is kind of neat. I did want to show you some other neat features that I saw on Twitter. So I think there's a redesigned calculator. If I go here, yeah, the calculator has a brand new icon. Now if I open it up here, boy, this looks like the original iPhone 2G. Tell me in the comments if you remember this calculator, but it really looks like the original iPhone. Also, screen recording is apparently here. So if I go into settings and then control center, see if I can find it here. Yeah, screen recording right there. So if I click on it, I can record my screen. And then right there, if I tap that button, I'm now recording my screen, which is really cool actually. I don't know why Apple didn't implement this before, but kind of nice now that you don't have to plug your iPhone into a computer or jailbreak your iPhone to record your screen. Pretty neat. Also is a dark mode. Now this really isn't a dark mode, it's kind of just a redesigned invert colors option. You may remember my video I posted yesterday on this. But if I search invert colors, smart invert, and I turn this on, you can see here it kind of turns it into a dark mode. So you can see here it says smart invert colors will reverse the colors of the display except for images. So it won't invert the important images, it'll only invert the aspects of your iPhone. So it's kind of messed up here, you can see in Control Center. But I mean, it's kind of a good idea. I guess it's kind of Apple's way to implement dark mode without actually saying it's an official dark mode. It's okay, I guess it'll get better in future betas, but this is kind of a dark mode for now. Let's see how it looks. Whoa. Let's see how it looks in Twitter, for example. Whoa. Okay, Twitter is now orange for some reason because we inverted the colors, but not working perfectly because it still inverts some of the actual UI elements, but invert colors is kind of neat, and it is a hint at what may become a dark mode later on. So guys, that is iOS 11. I think the weather app did change. Sorry, I'm remembering all these things I saw on Twitter. The UI is kind of different down here. There's just some different UI elements in different apps. But yeah, if you go ahead and install iOS 11 beta, you'll be sure to find some random new features that are present in pretty much every app. Apple gave every application a slight redesign just to make iOS feel a bit more fresh. Alright guys, that does it for me. Thank you for watching this video. Drop a like down below if you're excited for iOS 11, and tell me in the comments what you think. My name is Mike, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.